Very good.
This little chair, bro. This chair is crazy.
I like the Rocky look with the towels.
Yeah. This is my signature.
You guys look like prize fighters ready to go. We're joined now by Wendell Moore Jr., Mark Williams, and Paolo Banchero of Duke. If you have a question for Duke student-athletes, please raise your hand. We'll send a microphone attendant in your direction. Let's start in the front on the left. Second question is going to be to you, sir, because I know we missed you. Go ahead.
Royal Howell, Carolina Blitz. This is for all three of you on stage. During Duke's first media day earlier in last year, you all said there was no pressure getting to the Final Four, but the goal was to get to the Final Four. What was the defining moment during the season that you all looked at each other and said, hey, we got a chance to win a national championship?
When we do all three of you questions, we're going to start with Wendell, then Mark, then Paolo. Wendell, you first.
I think for me, it was kind of early on. I kind of realized we had a chance to do something special. Like just the way, even really before we started playing games, like just how the way like the summer workouts were going, the way guys were bonding early, just how close we were getting as a team. I mean, it's not that often. You really get close that quickly. And for us, we all just became immediate family. From there, I was like, we really have a chance to do something special.
Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally second that. Really early on, I felt like, we really got close as a team, on and off the court, just all of us being together all the time, being able to hang out, do all those sort of things. And then, of course, on the basketball court, just getting that chemistry throughout the year. But it was honestly something I thought was totally achievable. And obviously we're here right now, so.
Paolo.
Yeah, basically the same things they were saying, just how we was feeling from the jump. We knew we had a special group, and getting here was always the goal. I didn't really see us, ending anywhere else than here. So that was really just the goal from the jump, and yeah.
Staying on the left side in the fifth row.
Hey guys, Joe Mazer, ABC 11. This is a question for each of you. I would imagine you've talked about the whole revenge thing. How are you dealing with it? Are you embracing it? Are you using it as fuel, or are you trying to shed it and just treat this as its own game?
We're going to go with Wendell, Mark, and then Paolo again.
I think it's just another game for us. We're not looking at the revenge what happened last time. We're not looking at anything else. For us, it's a championship level game. It's just how we're going into it. No matter who it was, they're in the way of us getting to Monday. That's how we're looking at it.
Mark.
Yeah, 100%. I think regardless of who we'd played on Saturday, where you'd have the same mindset, obviously it's a national semifinal game. You're going to want to go out there and play your best basketball, play hard, do whatever it takes to win, no matter if that's North Carolina or whoever it may be.
Paolo.
Yeah, just, really trying to get away from that and not think about that. We're trying to play on Monday and win the championship, so, we're going to do whatever it takes to do that, whether, it doesn't matter who we play.
We're going to go to the right side just off the aisle. Jeff.
Jeff Goodman. Paula, I know you say that, and I just remember sitting across from you after the game against Carolina and looking kind of at your eyes, and I'm sure it was tough. How much when the brackets came out or anything like that, did you look at it and say, hey, I'd love another shot at Carolina after they just embarrassed us?
We was more paid attention to the West, and who we had to play coming up. I don't think we was looking too far, seeing potential Final Four matchups and stuff. I know I wasn't doing that. I don't think we were as a team either. So, this is how it shook out. It's a great storyline. It's going to be a great game. We're excited, so we'll be ready.
Fourth row on the right side, Dana.
Dana O'Neill at The Athletic. Wendell, going way back, when Coach Krzyzewski decided to not go out and recruit and really kind of dig in with you guys this summer, how did that sort of change things? Like, what was the dynamic, if it shifted, or was it all different this year?
I really think that it just gave Coach a chance to have a relationship with everybody, just individually, like getting to know the guys. He's real big on that. Just having a real personal relationship with each player. So it's like he knows what all of us we can do on the court. So he likes to know it's his people as well. I think that really that aspect is what was enhanced most about the summer. Really allowed all of us to get closer. We did a bunch of team activities together. So overall, I think it was for the better.
All the way in the back on the left.
For Wendell as well. Other guys can comment as well. But, obviously we all followed your season. We all saw, the ups and downs. And then, it felt like from a distance that a flip switch once you guys got to the tournament. Did something change? Is there something different? Is it the finality? What is it that has allowed you guys? It seems like every game you gain more confidence, and obviously it feels like you're playing your best basketball right now.
Wendell.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does feel that way. Definitely towards the end of the season, we came off the heartbreaking loss to Carolina. We played a couple of okay games in the AC tournament, another tough loss in championship. And then from there, we kind of treated it as a new season. Coming in, we had to get refreshed. We really just kind of started from the bottom. We had 3-4 days hard practice that we haven't had in a while. It's a chance for us to go 5-on-5 against our guys in practice. That's a good bump for real. So we get a chance to do that. We just got better that week. Now we're here. We had 4 tough games leading up to this one that prepared us for this moment. In each game, I do feel like we got better. We got more confident. In each game, somebody new stepped up. So we keep having things like that. I think we're going to be fine going forward.
In the center of the room.
Casey Hens from WREL in Raleigh. This can be for each of the three of you, if you could maybe give your take on this. Coach K mentioned after the win on Saturday that after that UNC loss and the ACC tournament, he changed his approach, whether it was from the way he spoke to you guys in halftime and the way, obviously, he listened to you guys during that Texas Tech game. I'm wondering how you guys have seen that and maybe how that's changed you guys down here in the last 4 games.
Wendell, you want to take that one first?
Yeah. He's kind of just been talking to us a lot more, asking what we're comfortable with on the court and things like that. He comes in with his own game plan, but then he gives us a chance to kind of fit it to, I guess, how we want to play, things like that, like our defensive coverage, what kind of plays we want to run and things like that. So I really wish when things come down to the moment, Coach really has just been listening to us lately. He feels like if it's a go, we go with it.
Mark, do you think Coach changed his approach?
I think, game by game, it's just he sort of gives us a little bit more of a chance to, explain what we're seeing on the court, Sometimes when you're playing, you have, a different feel for it. So you just, give your thoughts on certain things at certain times in the game. Like Texas Tech, obviously we went zone. Last 5 minutes, we were like, we want to go back man, stuff like that. But I think it's just tournament time, just trying to do whatever it takes to win. And obviously, you're gonna be open ears. So I think that's pretty much it.
Paolo, we're gonna skip that one for you in the interest of time. Let's go to the second row.
Hey, Mark. Brendan Marks from The Athletic. Coach has talked a few times this season about how much your lateral movement has improved, and he said, I think that they would have you chase Spencer around the perimeter even at times. Why has that been so helpful for you? How have you felt that, I guess, improve your defense maybe the most? And growing up, who were sort of the guys that you maybe watched growing up and tried to model your game after?
As far as this season, I think just working on lateral movement will just help me. Overall, defending. Sometimes, late in the shot clock, getting out to switch. Some games we're switching from the beginning. So just, staying in front of whoever you're guarding. And as far as people I watch in terms of defending, probably some Olajuwon, probably the Rudy Goberts of the world. Bam plays, he plays good defense too. So there's a lot of guys I watch.
Second row.
Hi, Steve Weissman from the Raleigh News and Observer. Paulo, I do want to take you back to the last game with Carolina. After the game, Coach K is out there giving his speech, and he says unacceptable performance, or the result was anyway. What were you guys thinking? What were you thinking in that moment? And what were your emotions as you absorbed that and knew you had more games to play?
I would just say we was upset for the most part and disappointed with the way we had played in that game. Just looking back on the film of that game, we as a team just feel like, we didn't show up how we should have, and we're a much different team than we were back then. and we got rid of some of those bad habits that you saw in that game. So, you know, just thinking back to that game, obviously everybody was disappointed. Coach obviously was too. But I feel like we're a different team, and we got a much better groove about us right now.
I think we have time for one last one. Let's go to Eddie.
Hi, it's Eddie Pelz from AP. To any of you guys, Coach had mentioned that after the Carolina game, he actually had to kind of sit down and look at himself in the mirror and kind of change what his message was to you. What did change there from then to now?
Eddie, that's for who?
Anyone?
Paulo, you want that one?
Really, I would just say our overall just kind of, I feel like during that point in the season, we was kind of playing within ourselves. We wasn't talking as much, communicating. We wasn't, you know, playing for each other as much. And I think he just basically told us we needed to get back to that. You know, that's kind of what changed, you know. He kind of told us that we all had to get on one bus. You know, if we wanted to all get on one bus, then we win, you know. But if we didn't, then we'd be going home early. So it was really up to us. And once we made that decision to fully commit, then everything kind of came easier. You know, we started communicating more. We started, you know, playing defense, just being better overall as a team.
I want to thank Wendell, Mark, and Paulo for joining us here in the main interview room. They're going to participate in breakout sessions tomorrow, and then they take the stage on Saturday night. Thank you very much, fellas, and congratulations once again. Their teammates Trevor Keels, Jeremy Roach, and A.J. Griffin are going to join us in just a moment. Let's make sure we get this nice man a microphone at some point to ask a question. Kind of tough, and you're landlocked right here in the middle. If I could build you an aisle, I would. No, Zach, no. How's it going, guys? Something I said? We're joined now by Trevor Keels, Jeremy Roach, and A.J. Griffin. We'll take questions for Duke student athletes. Do we have a microphone in the center of the room? Yeah, let's go there.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. David Thompson, USA Today Network. This question's for Jeremy. You saw all these freshmen come in, and I wanted to ask you particularly about Paulo, but you know, how did you see him from the beginning to where he's now, just sort of his maturity and the way he's dealt with the pressure of this season and all the situations that you guys have found yourself in?
I mean, coming in early, what was it, June? I knew Paulo was one of the he's one of the most special kids I've seen, and just to see him grow throughout the season with everything coming at him, you know. Obviously, he's a top pick in the NBA draft, so all that coming at him, he just handled it well. Very calm, very humble. It's not a guy who would just be very arrogant about himself because he's one of those top picks. Like he's humbled, he works hard. So to see the maturity in him at such a young age is big. Just with all the lights around him, so I think it's a big thing for him.
Billy.
Billy Witz with the New York Times. Trevor. Name, image, and likeness is a new thing for you know, a lot of people coming into college athletes. How has it changed your life? That might be kind of profound, but
I feel like, you know, it's definitely, you know, been grateful. I'm definitely grateful I had some opportunities to work and express my personality, especially with the Kilmo stuff. And then I think it's great for the whole team. I think we don't get too caught up in the NIL. Like when it's time to lock in and play basketball and be together, like we lock in. And when it's time to do the NIL, when we got free time, we do that. But I think, you know, we really focus on being with each other and winning the championship.
Billy's got a follow-up for that same microphone, please.
so much of this was about equity and just there's so much money in the game. Has that, I mean, I guess just, you know, having a little bit, whether it impacts you specifically or just the idea that, you know, you're getting a little piece?
Yeah, definitely. I think any person that get any bit of money is definitely happy. So I'm for sure happy and getting a little money in my pocket. But I'm definitely grateful for doing the things on the basketball court that can help me out with that. So
up front, Adam.
For Trevor and Jeremy, Adam Zagoria, New York Times. Guys, I know you have 4 guys from your high school team here in the Final Four with Slate and Anthony. I talked to Slate a little the other day. Can you just kind of talk about what it means to have all 4 of you here, and what are your recollections of that team, and I guess kind of the leadership role that Slate played on that team?
We were all on that same team my sophomore year, so his freshman year. I just knew that that group was going to be special. Just the way we bonded together, the way we were able to be coached. We came from the same AAU program, so I just knew we were going to be special. And what is that? 4 years later? 4 years later, to all end up here in the Final Four. You can't be more happy than that. And this shows you how good PVI is in the DMV area.
I remember my 8th grade year when Ant, Slater, and Jaron was all on the team, and they was recruiting me to come to PVI. I knew like them 3 were special. Like the chemistry they had, they hung out outside of high school, so it was a no-brainer. I went there, and then we just had a special connection. We always talked about that we're all winners. After that state championship, we was like, we know we was gonna win at the next level too. And now we're here, and we still keep in touch on a daily basis. So it's definitely fun, and I'm definitely proud of them.
Kind of win a title here, but will you try to get a photo or anything together with the 4 of you guys or anything, or you don't have time for that?
Probably not. We probably not really gonna see them out for real. But if we get a chance, we for sure, I'll probably grab a quick photo.
Second row on the corner here.
O'Neal with Devils Illustrated. AJ, you went from 27 points against Carolina in the first game to 5 in the second game. Did they do anything different, or was it more about you not getting to where you wanted to get to and getting the opportunities that you got in the first game?
I would say, they probably, adjusted a little bit more with, not denying the balls to me. And, that's still on my part. And, just knowing, you gotta adjust, and so the next game you just gotta watch the film, see what you could do better, and pretty much it, yeah.
Front row, right side.
Scott Gleason with USA Today. This is for all 3. I was hoping you guys could share what Coach K's message has been to the team in terms of blocking out the noise, not just playing North Carolina, but all season long, with it being his last year.
Jeremy first, then Trevor, then AJ.
This is a championship game. We're not looking at it as a rivalry or whatever everybody else is saying. It's a championship game. It's another opponent in our way. UNC's a hell of a team. We know they're gonna play their ass off for all 40 minutes. So, I mean, it's just a championship game. That's always harping on. It's a championship game.
Trevor.
You can't really get too caught up in that it's a rivalry. If you look at it like that, you're in trouble. So I think you look at it as a championship game. You want to win Saturday, and then you want to win Monday and be the last team standing. So I think I think that was his message towards us, and we accepted that message. And the team, like we've been talking about, a championship game. Don't matter who they put it in front of us. We gotta, they're in our way of winning the championship.
AJ.
Pretty much what Jeremy and Trev said. This is really just a championship game, and we know we're gonna play someone. And it doesn't matter who it is. We know our goal, where we want to be. So just one game at a time. Just want to go out there, play hard, and get the win despite who we're playing against.
Second row on the right.
Steve Weissman, Raleigh News and Observer. AJ, I want to ask you about your high school teammate, RJ. What's your relationship like with him, and what's it like this week, playing against him in this big game?
I mean, just playing against RJ in this big game, you know, just from playing in high school, you know, for 3 years, or three, no, actually four, it would have been 4, but, you know, just playing with him, you know, and getting here today, you know, it's just really, it's really pretty cool to see, you know, not as much people from like Stepinac, you know, make it to the Final Four and say you played against each other. So it's definitely something that both of us will remember. You know, we always, you know, after the games, you know, tell each other like, you know, great job and stuff like that. Just, you know, just seeing how far we came from, you know, Stepinac. So.
We reached our time limit this afternoon. We want to thank Jeremy, Trevor, and AJ for joining us. They're going to participate in breakout sessions tomorrow, and we'll have head coach Mike Krzyzewski here, 3:05 to 3:25. That's the next activity here in the main interview room. Thank you, fellas, and congrats again. Thank you. Not too bad, right? Thank you. Yeah. That's the NCAA President Dr. Mark Emmert news conference is at 3:30 following Coach Krzyzewski. That's in this room as well. Number 2. Yeah. I tried to get, where's Jen Rogers? question. David Thompson. So famous. Yeah. Prison changes a man. That's from Naked Gun 2, I think. Coach, you like opening statements or just
Yeah,
get into
let me
questions?
do.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're joined now by Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski. Coach is going to provide us with an opening statement, and then we'll get into questions. Coach.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we just had our workout, and our guys are excited. We're all healthy, and such a beautiful setting. I think when our guys walked out, they wanted them to know before they walked out. I said, just take a few minutes to let it all sink in and understand there are only 4 teams in the United States, 4 men's teams who are going to experience this. So make the most of the experience. So.
Our first question is going to go in the second row here. Eddie.
Hi, Coach. Eddie Pells with AP. Congrats. Now that you're here, could you discuss some of the emotions of flying in, seeing the Superdome for the first time, but also how you balance, some of the feelings that you and your players will obviously have, and with the idea that you have a difficult task ahead of you on Saturday? How do you balance that?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's much of a balance. I think that's part of the experience. These guys are competitors. They've won over 30 games and regular season champion. The thing about all 4 teams here, all 4 teams are championship teams. They've won their region, and now you have a chance. To me, it's an opportunity, an earned opportunity. And if you feel that it's pressure, you probably won't do well in it. But if you approach it where you've earned this opportunity to go for something even bigger, then you got a chance to play well. So that's kind of how we look at it.
Coach, we're going to take our next question in the third row here with Matt in the center.
Matt Norlander, CBS Sports. Mike, I've spoken with a number of your former assistants. I wanted to ask you about a process that you've gone through over the decades here. I talked with Wojo and Collins, a guy named Billis. I don't know if you remember who that is. But your routine of after every single game, looking at the tape. Apparently you inherited it, obviously, from Bob Knight. So 2 questions. Bray said
there wasn't tape at that time.
Reel to reel. I got it all covered.
Did you had to get that done? You didn't get it back.
Correct.
Until the next day.
Yes. So Bray said when you used to do this with Knight, you either called it the bunker or the cave of some sort, a windowless room. I was wondering if you could confirm what that was. And 2, what is it about this process that you've done after every single game over more than 4 decades that you stayed true to it? Why has it been this way and you've never kind of shifted off that work ethic and that routine? And
it's not kidding around. In order to do it after the game, you had to have videotape. And so that it changed when we were able to get that. And I've always looked at a game wasn't over until you analyzed it and were able to put a tape together of feedback for your team the next day, and then once that was given, then that game was put on a shelf, and you move forward. And it just the routine of what a game is, and then how do you prepare for the next one, and you get into that, and that's why memory of games that you've played is not as good with me, because you have always put it behind, no matter what.
On the right side of the aisle, Dana.
Dana O'Neill with The Athletic. Mike, your ability to spend kind of the summer recruiting when you normally would be out with this team, I'm not trying to discredit your relationship with previous teams, but did that make a unique emotional attachment with this group, and especially with one that's so young? Did it help?
Yeah, and when you had older teams, you could be on the road recruiting all the time because you'd have time. You already had relationships, and you're going to renew them or whatever. And I felt, the COVID year for us last year, the 2 things that, in analyzing that, I knew they were important, but they proved to be amazingly important, were relationships and preparation. And COVID robbed me of the ability to have those. And so with the succession plan we had in place, I was able to see my guys every day. And we brought our freshmen in earlier, about 3.5 weeks early, and they took a course and kind of were indoctrinated to Duke. They lived on Duke's campus longer than our freshmen of last year. So again, it's not just your program, but part of whatever school you go to, you got to know the school. Like our guys a year ago, if you're a freshman, you didn't know the school. You knew your laptop or your Zoom, whatever.
Coach, let's move up front, the left side.
Yeah, Zach Boyer from the Lawrence Journal-World. Mike, I wanted to ask you a little bit about experience. You rely on 3 of your freshmen, and in the other semifinal, Villanova and Kansas don't have any underclassmen who are starters. Those 2 teams have 2,000 games between them among all their players. What is it about experience and the value of experience and how it helps you get to and handle being on this stage?
Well, there's no question that you'd rather have an older team than a younger team. But if you have a younger team, you have to get them as old as possible during the season and develop a camaraderie and that is at a level worthy enough to compete against those older teams. And we were able to do that in these first couple rounds, because we played really, really good teams and programs. Michigan State, Tom's program is exquisite, and I thought Texas Tech was as good a team as we've played against all year. And Arkansas, and our guys have grown together really well, and they're about at a level, they're at a really high level for 1 year. And that's why, we'll have it, we got a chance.
Staying in the front row in the center, Pete.
Mike, Pete Thamel from ESPN. Your first NCAA tournament game as a head coach was 1984. You've coached 131 overall. I wonder if you could reflect a little bit on your evolution as a tournament coach and a bit of the evolution of the tournament itself.
Yeah, well, the tournament keeps getting bigger, and which is great. Hopefully we don't screw up college basketball during the regular season. We're doing a good job of that, but where it doesn't take away from March. I think in some respects it saves us, so maybe we don't reflect on what we do in the regular season at a deep enough level. But to see the game grow in that magnitude, it's terrific. For me, you learn from experience. So I used to get into the tournament, and this is a while ago, and I would put a 4-team, like whoever was in your weekend, and not all the time did we get out of the weekend. And I remember Coach Knight saying, you have to approach it where each game is a championship game. So then we changed that. And, it wasn't so much that we assumed, but by putting that out there, it creates an environment where you can think that there's going to be something else. I've been very fortunate to be in a lot of these games, and I don't think there's an exact formula. You just have to figure out how your team does it in this tournament, and I've enjoyed trying to figure that out with this group.
Coach, we're going to go to the third row on the left side.
Hello, Coach. Royal Howell, Carolina Blitz. As you prepare for Saturday's game, what's the best way to say this? As you prepare for Saturday's game, what are your defensive tendencies? Like, what does your team have to do to come out with a win? Your team has got hot, specifically in the tournament. You've seen a surge from Jeremy Roach. You're playing better perimeter defense. You communicating on defense, backside defense, hollows. What does your team have to do Saturday to come out with a win?
Yeah, well, quite a bit, and more so than I can answer. That's why you're studying them like crazy. I think for our guys, one, because we've played each other twice, to know that it's not the same team we played either time. you know, that they've grown and they're better, and to understand who they are at this minute. So when you go over personnel, not to say, well, yeah, they were that way. And no, they're not. They're better. And then for us to continue to play at a high level of defense that we've done in the tournament. And when we play good defense, we usually play good offense. In the tournament, we become much like we're shooting over 50%. We have incredible balance in our scoring. We have 5 guys in double figures, and Trevor's at 7, but he can be the leading scorer in a game. And so to me, that means that the offense is kind of flowing naturally because the defense is being paid such great attention to. And hopefully we can keep that going.
Coach, we'll head over to the right side with Jeff, and then we're going to go toward the center with WRAL TV.
Not a question on this one, but you know who's next, right? When you're done here, you going to stick around for the Mark Emmert press conference? I know how close you are.
I am sitting at the edge of my chair.
Sure you are.
In anticipation of.
We all are. We all are.
Well, is that happening really?
Yeah, you can stick around right when you're done.
I got a team to coach, but well, I hope you all bring up.
Do you have a question that you'd like us, since you won't be here?
I
to
have
ask
many
me?
questions.
I'm sure you do.
You know, where are we? I think the very first one is where are we going, and who's going to be in charge? Not that I'm saying he shouldn't be, but what are we doing? What are we doing to make sure we're taking care of all divisions that are under your roof? Men, women, all sports, those that make money and those that just make men and women out of people. And probably that's more important than the other, but you have to do that. And so there's balance, and we're understanding that everyone cannot be treated the same. That doesn't mean everyone's not treated fairly. And it's a new day that should have been a new day decades ago. So we got a lot to make up for.
That was, again, not my question. I apologize, but
I thought I answered it.
You
pretty
did.
good.
You did. We'll ask him. Don't
Thank
worry.
you.
We'll ask him. Have you caught yourself thinking about what if you win 2 more, cut down the nets, and the storybook ending that could be?
Yeah, I haven't, Jeff, I have not tried to do that, because then I think you leave a hole somewhere in your preparation for the game on Saturday. I think you have to be all in on Saturday and then accept the consequences of it. And hopefully they're good for us. But I think if in approaching it that way, whatever happens, then I'll feel good about it. And it's like that bracket. It's like, not doing it that way. And, I didn't do this season to have a storybook. I did it because I wanted to coach 1 more year, and I wanted to have a good succession plan for our program. And we've won 32 games, and my guys have been terrific. So I'm very thankful that I've had this level of youngster this year. They really get along well.
Coach, we're going to go to the center of the room, just to the left.
Yeah.
WRAL TV, did you guys pass it to your right, please? My right.
Hi, Coach. Casey Hintz, WREL. A little bit off the beaten path, if you don't mind, but we've been speaking to some of your former players that have played in Final Four games, and one of those is Marty Clark. And he spoke about a call he got from you back in 2014, his alcoholism and whatnot. I'm just wondering if you could speak to what that meant to you to kind of play a role in him getting his life back on track.
Yeah, well, we're very proud of him, and he's been very public about how he changed his life, and as a result, he's now changing other people's lives. And basically, you know, the relationships that players and coaches have, not just at Duke, but in sport, are very deep, or can be very deep. And in a moment of need, a lot of times a youngster, male or female, will reach out to someone who has had an influence in their development stage. And that's what happened with Marty, and it worked out great. My daughter Debbie was really very instrumental in that. And yeah, he's doing well. He's doing real well.
Coach, all the way up to the front on the right side.
Hi, Mike. Scott Gleason with USA Today. You've talked about the journey in coaching this really young team and getting them across the bridge. I was hoping you could explain to me how important it's been to psychologically prepare them, blocking the noise out with all the pressure, and really just having those one-on-one relationships with each of them.
Yeah, you know, when you say noise, I don't think I don't think a youngster looks at noise as pressure. They look at it as noise. They like a lot of noise. That's why they like mentions and comments, and you know, their pool is not very deep, but it's very expanded. And so when we say, you know, listen to one voice, it means like I talked to him earlier this week. I said, you know, you only have so much room, mind space, where you can get in depth about anything. You can put a lot in your mind, but not necessarily deep. And so can you not put in your mind things that you will not get deep about, and get really deep about what we're doing? And not that they couldn't, but just because it's harder now. You know, the further you go, it's harder for them. And so we've talked about that, but really there's no pressures. They don't feel pressure. You know, I'm amazed at that. You know, try to remember being that age. I would have felt pressure, and nervous, and maybe a little bit afraid. They're not. They are not. So I admire that in them, and it's not anything we taught them. They brought that to us.
Coach, that same area of the room, Adam.
Hey, Coach, Adam Zagoria, how are you?
Good, Dan.
Wanted to ask you about Tom Konchowski, if he gets named into the Hall of Fame Saturday as a contributor to join Garf, what would that mean? And do you have any inside information on whether he's going to get in?
Yeah, I don't. I knew you would ask. So like a lot of people feel I have inside information on a lot of things that I don't. But I've been a big proponent and supporter of Tom's, as I was of Garf, basically because he deserves to be in. Tom is one of a kind. He's helped tens of thousands of kids from Division III to Division I, and coaches marry up to develop those relationships that we've been talking about. And there's not anyone like him. I'm not the only one. We all benefited greatly from our friendship and our love of Tom, and so hopefully that happens.
Coach, all the way back and all the way left.
Aaron Torres, Fox Sports. So earlier, Wendell was on the stage, and I asked him about, it feels as though from a distance, as though these guys kind of flipped the switch, and it seems like they're gaining more confidence every game. I know you said that the confidence that they have, you're kind of surprised by in its own right, but was there anything that happened between that ACC tournament loss and the start of the tournament? I mean, it just feels like you guys are getting better every single game.
Yeah, practice. You know, we did not play very well for 4 games, and we're 2-2, and so they accepted. They were responsible, were accountable, and you know, I think a lot of coaches will tell youngsters. They use the expression "trust your work." And so when you go into competition, if you haven't worked, then you have a hard time trusting yourself. But if you've worked, you can trust, but you can also, you own it. You own it more. And so they just did that. That's on them. I mean, we helped them with that, but and they've gotten better. You know, like our guys are playing well. Yeah, I don't know how it'll all turn out, but you know, they're playing well.
Coach, probably the last one on the right side.
Coach Chris Budden with ESPN. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen more of the emotion, the connection with this team. I'm wondering, when you announced this would be the last season, you prepared for what would come emotionally. It's been less than, more than emotional than you prepared for, thought it would be?
Yeah, really, any emotion that I've shown, it's not been because it's my last season. It's been because of something that you've interacted with a player or the team about. If you're being emotional for it's your last season, you're really a selfish person. And although there are people out there that think I am, in this respect, I am not. I've always taught that shared emotion is the best, and to be able to share that emotion and accomplishment with these guys has been really good.
We want to thank Coach Krzyzewski for joining us here in the main interview room. Coach will be back with us tomorrow for a period before his team gets stuff on the court.
Best of luck with the next one.
Thank you, Coach.